Come on, let's go.
Hurry up.
I was grabbing a beer.
Welcome to the PorchTlk Podcast, where some 20-somethings, soon to be 30-somethings, honestly, talk about their lives, help you figure out your lives, and so much more. I'm tired. It's Monday. We're back. I'm Eric.
This was definitely a Monday. Ezra, Brockwood Elementary, class of 06, valedictorian.
And Miss Paige Lee.
Paige is back once again. Morgan is still suspended. Don't let anybody get it twisted. She is suspended. We still do not agree with what she did in her actions, and we will stand by that.
Yeah, what she did was sick.
Yeah, honestly, despicable. We're back, week off. We're here for I think we have 2 weeks, and I think we have Labor Day, and then there's so much going on within now September. I think October hopefully will be chill, but who knows?
Probably.
Then Ezra's wedding in November. Yeah, there's too much going on.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hell of a day, hell of a rundown. Let's jump into this first topic that I definitely know. Could your significant other still be friends with their ex's parents? How would you feel about that? Kind of weird. What? Why? Why are you best friends? What are you doing?
It is kind of weird. It's strange, but the more people I talk to, the more people, and it's generally women who stay in touch with their ex's mom, I've learned. The more people I'm realizing are still friends. I wouldn't even just say acquaintances. They are friends with their ex's moms. They text, they have phone calls. If they're in the same city,
What?
they go out for lunch sometimes. And to me, that's a lot. Acquaintances with my ex's parents, I'd still be a little strange. But friends, the couple of shorties that I tested this question on happened. Three of the three happened to still be friendly with their ex's significant ex's mom, and their excuse, all of them, was well, we dated for this amount of years, so we became family. No, you didn't. You came her boyfriend's girlfriend at the time. That didn't pan out. That is not your mother-in-law. That is not your boyfriend's mom. At some point, we got to get a grip. Also, this is not your mother-in-law. Y'all was never married. Y'all dated for 2 years. Why the fuck y'all have this buddy relationship where y'all was hanging out in the first place? That's some strange shit. I would never just have a girlfriend texting my mom, hanging out with my mom, would be like, the fuck she doing around here? Without the cussing. But still, to me, I think it's a little strange, but it's not necessarily an outlier. It seems like a lot of shorties, low key, might still be friends with their ex's mom.
Okay, well, as the female here today, to speak for the females, I'm going to say I'm not friends with any of my ex's moms.
Credit to you.
Go ahead and put that out there.
That's a win.
But I do know a lot of girls that are the same way. And I would argue that it's weirder that the mom stays in touch with their children's exes.
It's not a bad argument. That's definitely weird.
It's weird, but if my parents stayed in touch with one of my exes and hung out with them without me, I would argue that that is weirder than just staying in touch with your ex's parents. Either way, it's weird though, and I don't do it, and I don't agree with it. I do think it's weird, but yeah, I've just recently I used to be on the big kick of staying friends with your exes and making sure you were always on good terms. And here lately, I've just kind of fucked that idea right off. So I'm gonna have to agree.
I don't think I've ever even ended on bad terms, really. But it ain't. There's no term. We don't. There's no need for us to be anything.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
But I also agree with the parents part, because that's there is strains on their end. You're 20, 25 years older at the least, probably. The fuck is you looking for? Why is you 40, 50 looking for a 20-year-old friend? You weird ass nigga.
And
Yeah.
also if you're the new girlfriend coming in and you see your boyfriend's parents hanging out with their ex, it's just weird for everybody. And it's not necessarily stay on good terms with them, sure, but hanging out with them by yourself is just so disrespectful almost.
Yeah, but you see, there's the problem. Hanging out with them by themselves, crazy. But Now you're gonna get dragged into seeing your ex because you're gonna get invited to like cookouts and baby showers. One of them was at her ex's of 4 years, and they broke up like 18 months ago. She was at her ex's of 4 years sister's wedding. I'm like, no, you're not getting invited
What?
to that shit. Like, you're not coming. That's weird.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I think you made a good point that like it's one thing if you were married, you're married, maybe you had kids. Like it's just there's levels to it. But like you
Yeah,
dated for a couple years, like no. If we see you in public, you want to be cordial and nice, like, oh, it's been so long, I haven't seen you. Hope everything's well. Cool.
Yeah.
I don't need you like popping up at the house and I'm like, well, why is she here? Like that's weird.
Yeah.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
strange. We gotta shut that down. And I feel like the parents who like support that are trying to secretly get your kid back with this ex. We moved
Hmm.
on. We do not want them. Like, come on, man. She
Yep.
probably still want him, but like, he's gone. He's
Yep.
forever gone. And I did have one guy who said that he is still friends with his ex's dad. And then I had, because they're in a fantasy league together, which is also like strange. Like, nigga, I gotta drop. We can finish the season out, but I gotta drop after that. And then I had one who was like still friends with her mom, but he was like, yeah, we're like best friends. And I was like, yeah, she got a
No,
husband,
you're
man.
What?
not.
Like this is definitely weird.
No, you're not. Why are you like quote unquote best friends with like an older woman? That's so weird.
Can't be good for any future relationships.
Yeah, like is the older mom trying to get at you? That would be my question.
Probably. It's probably a mix of both. They're both probably trying to get at each other.
Yeah. Ugh.
Listen, I could excuse the fantasy football one because you know how it is. It's hard to get boys, especially once you get older. It's hard to get the boys together to get fantasy going. So if you can have a good crew that's solid, you just you do the draft, you talk a little shit, and then it is what it is. And then you fall off until next season. It's fine.
I don't hate that as much because at that point you're not really like friends. You're just in a fantasy league shit talking. I'm
Yeah.
sure everybody's got chats, but they're not like friends with everybody in the chat. So maybe, but that's like the absolute extent. I also know a girl who's in a book club with one of her ex's moms. They meet once a month.
That's
That's
still
true.
seeming too much.
She seems to really like the book club, but she
Mhm.
doesn't seem to like the ex's mom. She just doesn't want to find a new book club. So
See, there you go.
that one I don't necessarily hate because they're not really friends. They just
Yeah.
coexist in this book club.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah. Being friends with the ex's parents, big
Yeah.
red flag.
By the way, when we're saying ex's parents, ex's siblings are included, and I might include ex's friends as well, depending.
I mean,
Nah, I'll
friends, it's
cut the
kind of
friends.
like, do you
I'll
become
cut the
friends with
friends.
the other friends?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, because you can.
Friends is tough because it depends on like how you met those friends or like did they help set you all up or was it like a girlfriend of their friend? Like
yeah.
that's like a whole kind that's kind of messy.
What if
And
they like
Yeah,
you better?
I was gonna say I'll take all friends because you can become friends through an ex and like you just fuck with them. So
yeah. But I
I'll
do
permit
agree with
that.
the siblings. Like, if you become really close with your, siblings, significant other, like, they shouldn't be bestie level enough to like be in your bridal party.
Yeah, hell no.
Like, imagine going to your
Yeah.
sister's wedding and like your ex that destroyed your heart is like in your sister's wedding or like something like that.
Yeah, that would be crazy.
Would you put your foot down?
No, absolutely. I think I've got loyal family where none of them would do no weird shit like that. But I do think it. I don't think any of my family was ever gonna be anything more than cordial to a girlfriend. A fiance, a wife, that's different, but a girlfriend, like, yeah.
Yeah.
But I also was not one of those niggas bringing my girlfriend around the family all the time. There would have never been an instance where she could have become best friends with anybody.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like, I've never really like I've dated people that my parents have met, but I never brought them around enough to even create a significant enough relationship for them to give a fuck when we broke up.
Yeah,
So I kind of avoided that. But
Fair enough. All right. What about this? We've all heard the saying, love conquers all. And I think we can probably agree that that's not the case. So, what can't love conquer?
I've got a lot. I've truly got a lot. As I was thinking about this, I was listening to a story. I was thinking about it heavy on a drive to work one morning. those early road empty thoughts really get to you. I put about 16 minutes into this. Cigarettes. Love couldn't conquer the smell of cigarettes. If
Mm.
you were the quote unquote love of my life and you were a cigarette smoker, and I knew for the rest of my life to be around you, I was gonna have to smell cigarettes. Love couldn't conquer that. I'd go find Love B. I'm sorry, you're toast.
But
Love.
if somebody was a cigarette smoker, wouldn't you know that before you fell in love with them? So then it like wouldn't be an issue.
I don't know. I
Um,
truly don't.
I
Maybe this was
like
a
a
pen
pick
pal
up
shit.
on it, I
We
guess.
fell in
I
love
think it
long
would be
distance.
the picked up habit because I think this would just be a deal breaker to begin
Oh
with.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
yeah,
That's
but yeah, love could not, love could not conquer cigarettes. Love could, love could not conquer cigarettes. Love could not conquer any of that like weird, any of the like weird trends, like shorties who like sleep in separate rooms or whatever. Like that's kind of a thing going around now. Love couldn't conquer that. I'm not having a separate bedroom than my John. Like nope, love's not conquering that. I'm not signing up my life for that shit. If you had cats, love could not conquer that. I'm not living at all with cats. Like I'm just not
what
doing
do
it.
you
Yeah,
mean?
not a cat person. Love could not conquer that.
Shout out
Um,
JD Vance over here. All these single cat ladies, huh?
Yeah.
yeah, love could not conquer that. Hygiene. If you had bad hygiene, I work with a nigga. His hygiene is not good. When I started, people warned me about his hygiene. I could be in the warehouse and he can walk by like 10 feet away and you smell him. And apparently that's just like his brother used to work there. Apparently that's like a thing. So love cannot conquer bad hygiene. I'm sorry. I couldn't
Yeah.
do it
I'm
because now
gonna wholeheartedly agree with that one.
I'm around you for the rest of my life smelling that.
Yep.
Love could not conquer bad driving. There's levels to bad driving. If every time I get in the car I'm fearful for my life, I'm not living like that. I'm not going through that roller coaster ride every time I step in the car with you. Those I think are my 4 or 5 quick love could not conquer. Oh, love could not conquer if you want to live on the West Coast. I've got no interest ever moving to the West Coast. I could do Midwest, and that's about as far as I could go. West Coast and New York, if those were what your heart desired, we would end it. We could be 6 years in, close to getting married. It would end that day.
Even if it was for a job that paid so much that you could retire and never work again in
No,
your life.
because if you're getting offered a job that pays so much you can retire and never work another day in your life, the option B has to be close to that somewhere else. So nope, not doing it.
No, I heavy agree on the bad hygiene one. And that makes me think like people with bad hygiene, do they not smell themselves or like has no one told them they smell terrible?
I think somebody told them. I think they get used to it. I remember when I was in 5th grade when we were doing like sex ed, like little pre-sex ed. We had a teacher and he told us by the time you smell it, somebody else has been smelling this for hours. So the thought
Whoa.
process of like how long it would take for them to realize they smell bad, other people have probably known that for like hours.
Oh, that's horrible.
Damn.
That's horrible. Well, not my, ones that can't be conquered or whatever. Well, I was gonna say like cheating.
Yeah, I thought that was gonna be like
Oh yeah, no,
pick
that's definitely on
one,
the list.
number one.
That's definitely on the list.
I was gonna say cheating. I don't think no amount of like apologies or anything can
Mm.
make that work. I was gonna say, like, mm, I had the thought of saying children. Like,
I mean, for
how,
you,
well,
that's
no. Like some people, like they tried to fix their marriage and like make it better by having more kids because I think it's
Oh yeah, that's bad.
like you can't really like make that better by having because if anything that like creates more stress. Um, I would say like continuous disrespect, like just not being considerate or anything like that. Um, I don't think any amount of like claiming love or, any of that can foreshadow just like constantly being disrespected by somebody that is supposed to love you. Um, trying to think of what else. Those were like the top 3 that came to mind for me, for sure.
I was gonna say, I mean, we hit the cheating. You could hit like abuse. Oh, that's no pun intended on the hit abuse there. Um, racism, like those are the heavy hitters that you could hit.
Hmm.
What is your face about racism?
Love
Because I
not
would
to
love to
conquer
know.
racism. If you love someone enough, you might be able to overcome their racist remarks. And here's why. I couldn't. I couldn't. But people like fall into these like race kink relationships where like they're
Oh,
Asian, somebody fetishized dating them because they were Asian. That is like in and on its own racism, and they in every bit of love.
I mean, that might be somebody. It's not gonna be me.
Yeah, it can't be you. I hope. I hope Anna didn't get you to be her little Puerto Rican.
It's bad that like my first thought was again JD Vance and his wife. You know, he's like heavily racist and I'm pretty sure his wife is Indian,
Come on
if I'm
now.
not mistaken.
I can't. I'd have to fact check that one.
I
Let's
I'm
see.
pretty sure she is. But like the same I mean, I guess like his comments and stuff and she's dealing with it.
Oh, Yusha Vance.
Did
It
I
does
just
look like she might be Indian.
Yeah, I think she is.
Damn, that's crazy.
Because she doubled down on his childless cat lady comment. And she was like, yeah, but he only meant the ones that like try to have kids and can't have them. And it's like, that's literally worse. Like, that is actually
Yeah,
so much
they actually
worse.
I'm
can have
like
kids.
where is it?
Jesus. This might be a hot take. Can't conquer. Super very religious who just like ruin your life all the time.
That's not that hard of a take. I can see that.
Yeah.
You know, religion. It's always a hot take.
Yeah.
Here's a real hot take. Family. Can love conquer bad family? If you're
Oh,
significant other's family, there's drama, they're meddlers, they suck. Can y'all love conquer that?
I think it depends on where the person with the bad family prioritizes their family. Like if
hmm.
they're always taking their side or they're always like involved in the drama of their family, I can see where that couldn't conquer. But if they can like separate it and like create a boundary between the two to make it okay, I think that is doable, but I understand that can be really difficult.
Yeah, I think it really depends on how much it ends up affecting your life or how much it's
Yeah.
affecting their life because their life will affect your life and vice
Yeah,
versa.
Yeah.
So if they kind of just like let it go one ear out the other, cool. If they're like, oh my god, my dad did this, my cousin the other day was doing this, saying this, like if it's 24/7, that's gonna you're gonna be done for.
Yeah, because
yeah.
also, why do you care?
How much energy are they willing to devote to that?
Mm.
Pessimist people as well. I don't know if love, in my eyes, I don't know if love can conquer pessimism.
Negative vibes are not good.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
just don't
I
know if
agree.
I can wake up every day to like the world's most negative person. Like at some point, I'm gonna be like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Um, I have a question. Could love conquer for you guys if you were dating someone? I mean, we're almost 30 now. They're like an artist trying to chase their dreams, but they're just getting nowhere right now. Like they're not really working. You're kind of supporting them, but they're just like, babe, I'm just trying to get out there and finish this dream. You know, just trying to get there.
No, I
Um,
don't believe in dreamers to begin with. And love to me cannot conquer dreamers. Like you said, we're 30. Let's step into reality. That
I'm not
art
30, I'm
degree,
29.
the paintings ain't doing nothing for you. Go get a fucking job. You can paint on the side. You can paint after your 9 to 5 once you're tired, beat, and exhausted. But like, come on now.
I'm cracking up at the fact that you were like, no pessimism, could never be the pessimist. You're like, I don't even think dreamers are real. Love my dreams. Like,
These damn dreamers.
um, I would say if a person has a goal and they have like a timeline, and then if they don't hit that timeline, then they're like, okay, I'll go get a job, blah, blah, blah. Like if they need to put their all into something for a set amount of time, I could see where that would be doable. But if it's just like a never ending timeline of them always trying to chase something that like they're not getting any traction on, I don't think that's doable. There has to be some kind of compromise where you're still bringing in income and it's not so stressful on the one person that's supporting everybody.
I mean, do you want to
Approaching
be with
30?
someone who gives up on their dreams though?
Yeah, I
Couldn't
wouldn't.
be me. I need a
Okay with.
dreamer. Go
No,
and fight until they
we
die.
I'm okay with quitters. Please, if you are behind, fucking quit. Like life is life is about new opportunities. Quit on that bullshit you used to have and get into some new shit. Um, approaching 30, I don't know if anybody could present a reasonable timeline to still be dreaming to me. Because in my mind, I'd be like, why the fuck didn't you give up on this already? Like the timeline for this would have been like 2 or 3 years in your young 20s. That time is gone.
But what if they didn't have the dream until they turned 30?
I'm sorry. If
Mm.
you started dreaming at 30, you're 10 years too late. So, like, just stop. I'm
What if it's a
fucking
new
give it.
dream? They quit on their old dream. They turn 30, new dream.
Exactly. Exactly.
The new dream at 30 needs to be to get some fucking money.
So as long as they're getting money to whatever they do on their 5 to 9, they can
Oh,
dream.
yeah. If you're getting money, do whatever the fuck you want. Honestly, not even just if you're getting money. If you have money, you could have inherited money from your great grandpa dying yesterday.
Dream.
Believe me, I'm not asking no questions. Do whatever the fuck you want. But if you are broke, yeah, that dream shit gotta stop. Broke
As
niggas
long
cannot dream. They do not deserve to dream. They have not earned a single dream.
as long as they have passive income, you're good.
Good.
Yup.
Okay.
That'd be like
There's
being
an M.
homeless and dreaming. What the fuck are you doing? Get on the corner and peddle
What
some
else do they
money.
have to do? They have to dream. There's definitely an MLK joke there for sure. Just had to leave that alone. All right. Oh, great next topic.
Hmm.
At what point do you start to treat your children as young adults? At what point do you think your parents started treating you as a young adult? Does that affect your decisions as well?
I thought about this for a while. I think you probably I think my parents started to treat me as a young adult probably around like 14, 15. I didn't really have to check in as much. I can kind of go do things when I wanted. I got a job at 16. Always had a late curfew. Like my curfew was like 2. I was home by 2. Wasn't ever really tripping.
What?
Yeah, nah, like I'm the second youngest of 11. My parents did not give a fuck by that point. Um,
It's because they had like
um,
15 kids. They're like, yeah, he'll be all right. He'll figure it out.
I, I think they started to treat me as a young adult around then. We had like adult grown up conversations about money, about financial literacy, about like my expectations in life, shit like that. I think I would probably treat my kid like an adult a little younger. One, because it's hard being a black man in America, so they got to know that from day one. Two, I think just where social media is, they're probably going to be, because that's what, 10, 15 years from now, like maybe. So they're probably going to be less childlike than we were as a generation at 12, 13, 14 anyway, just because the access to information that they have. So you probably got to start treating them as like a kid right around like, not as a kid, as a young adult, probably around like middle school. So maybe like 11, 12. Because I just
They're
think,
even starting to
like,
look older too.
yeah, they
Like,
definitely look, whoa, whoa,
no, no,
whoa,
no. Like,
almost got tripped up.
no, no,
Oh,
no. I meant like what I looked like in middle school versus like how girls the same age like know how to do makeup and like they don't
yeah.
look like they're in middle school. They look like
Oh yeah, it's
intense.
completely different. So I think that like year or two lapse that we had in my experience, I've got to like speed up because just due to access to information, they're gonna be 12, but they're gonna know shit that like 15, 16-year-old Ezra knew. So probably got to start to treat them older quicker.
Yeah. I would say my parents didn't start treating me like a young adult. I swear to you, probably until I actually went to college. Because I was like the only daughter, and I was so sheltered, and I was in trouble all the time and always grounded. So like I didn't even have enough experience for them to treat me like a young adult. And then they just like dropped me off at college one day. So I wish they would have started me earlier. And like I had chores, so I knew how to do things, but I didn't have any like knowledge of like outside of my house very much, I would say. Like I learned a lot in college from other people and like my friends. So I would say to do it around like the time you're starting high school, like the 14, 15, especially before you like start to drive or have your first car. So you know how to like budget money for gas or like even have money for gas or, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I think around 14, 15, 16 is probably too late. I think it's got to be 14 or 15 is a good
Yeah.
age. But I mean, like, I guess you can treat them like adult. I think I'd even talk to my kids like an adult way younger. Just like let's just talk like adults. I don't need to baby you. Like, what does that do for you?
Nothing. I was gonna ask, what do we think treating children like young adults looks like? Because I think hard conversations, or what we would deem hard conversations for a child, we could probably have those a little earlier. Financial conversations, we could probably have those earlier.
I would
I
say
think just like
like
responsibility and shit like that. Like I think at some point you've got to talk to, which I do not think this was done to me. This was kind of one of the things I had to find out on my own. I was allowed to be grown in every way outside of responsibility. I was a star. I'm sorry. Being a star, you were treated like a star. So I was kind of catered to by my family, my friends, the high school. Um, I don't think responsibility, like the concept of responsibility, really was dawned on me until I was like 19, 20. Realistically, maybe 21. I truly don't think the first. I was talking to somebody about this the other day. I don't think because like when I went to college, I got kicked out of JMU. I dropped out mid semester when I went to school in West Virginia. I don't think I was held responsible for anything or accountable until I went to camp. That was probably the first time in my life
Mm,
somebody like held me accountable for some shit, which
damn,
seems
rude
crazy at like
awakening.
20, but that was probably the first time I was ever held accountable for something.
that's gonna go ahead and make a lot of sense. That's gonna go ahead and make a lot of sense. I would say talk to young adults like adults more about like reproductive system, like sex education, like that kind of thing, and don't like weaponize like curse words or safe sex or stuff like that. Especially where I live, it's just so taboo and nobody talks about it. And then you have so many people in so many like really tough situations because they didn't know all the like repercussions or consequences of their actions type thing. So I think just like more knowledge on adult subjects and like talking to them like it's not a bad thing or just like it's something that everybody does would have helped a lot for me at least.
You guys are kind of like the inverse. Like Ezra didn't really have any responsibility, and Paige had like all the responsibility put on her plate.
Yeah.
And you just need like a middle ground. Like you need some responsibility so like you can let your kids live and learn, but
Yep.
also like when they need to be held responsible, hey, you can go ahead and do so.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because I didn't even really have a choice at the house. My sister could tell you. I had like days I was supposed to do the dishes. I did a bad job, so my mom took it away from me. She was just like, "I'm not dealing with this shit." Yeah, like
Weaponized
I,
incompetence.
I really
In
had
my
like, I was really chilling.
in my house we had jars on top of the refrigerator, and if you did your chores you got a marble. And keep in mind this vase is like huge. You got one marble if you did your chores that day. You know how long it takes up to fill a vase of marbles? And then you would get the day off once you
I'm
filled
not
it.
gonna lie to you.
So like you're working 365, 24/7 to get that one day off. But if you get grounded, if you backtalk, if you did anything bad, they took away half of whatever you had.
I'm
Bro,
not gonna
what were
lie.
you living in a
I
fucking slave encampment? Jesus
never once
Christ.
filled the vase. There was not a singular day ever I filled that vase.
They're planning your downfall.
When I hear
Oh,
things like that,
100%.
it's crazy to me because as a young kid, I was told some game. I got older siblings. I was told some game that I probably shouldn't have been told. Like that wouldn't have worked for me because I can feel this jar and get a day off, or I can just not do it and get the day off. I'm gonna just not do it. Like what the fuck? I got an older brother. He used to have to get. He was bad as hell. Two of my brothers were bad. Probably all of them were bad as hell, honestly. He used to get beat before school on the way to school to like he was gonna fuck up. It was known he was gonna fuck up, so he was getting beat before he got sent to school. One day when I was in elementary school, he was like, I was like young in elementary school. He was like near the end of high school at this point. He was telling me a story, and he was like, "Yeah, but like if I already got beat for the day, I can kind of do whatever the fuck I want when I get there." And I was like, "You're right. You've already been beat. You earned this. Like I gotta go earn this ass whooping I took." So yeah, that marble
Jesus.
shit would not have worked. I would have just been taking days off. Like, come on.
Mm. Sheesh.
Damn. Crazy inverse we got going on here.
Yeah, like could not be more polar opposite.
Bro, your brother is a menace. I already got beat. Let me go earn this beating
Oh yeah,
now.
he
And
was
honestly,
he was bad
it's
as
a
hell.
great logic. It's a great logic. Like I can't fault it. I
Yeah,
can't fault
he really
because
outdid his
I would be working my ass off to not get the beating, do something wrong, and still get the beating. So I was getting both, doing the work and the beating.
Yeah, I think I always find it interesting how like kids rationalize consequences. Cause I think it's really because I got a lot of older siblings. I got to the point when I was like in elementary school, probably like second or third grade, and I was really weighing out like this ain't that bad. Like mom said to be home before so and so, and like if I stay out a little later, the worst that's gonna happen is I had all this fun and I'm gonna get beat for 2 minutes. Yeah, like I'm gonna just come back late. What the fuck?
Oh,
Oh my gosh.
God.
It's
I can't
crazy.
wait for your kids to do that to you. It's going to be hilarious.
No, they might honestly.
I'm going to put them on game. I'm going to be like, yo, watch this episode.
Make sure you get beat before school.
Yeah, get beat before so you can just do whatever.
Yeah.
No, truly.
Oh, perfect segue. In which situations in life have you been the problem?
Oh God.
Mm.
I mean, listen, if you didn't have a little like fuck boy or fuck girl era in dating, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I think everybody goes through it.
I don't
Oh,
think I have.
dating. I was probably the problem for like
Paige.
a good 5 years, 5 or 6 years from like teens
God
to
damn.
like teens to young 20s. I was probably the problem. Um, when I got to college my freshman year, the coach pulled me in and told me I was a bad influence. And he was talking about the like juniors and seniors I was kicking it with. And I was like, these niggas is grown. Like, they gonna do what they want to do. I was probably the problem there.
Oh god.
I can't say because I will say camp made me be accountable like one or two times. I can't necessarily say I was the problem, but what I will say is my very first year at camp, I linked up with some problems kind of like myself. We were definitely a problem as a unit. So you could probably pick any of the four or five of us, and we were all problems.
Sheesh.
And then I had a
Um,
job. My second job, I worked at a restaurant in a campground for like 3 years. I was definitely the problem. We were not doing shit in there. Like we were doing whatever we want. I was a manager. Like my fucking after like 3 months, he made me and one of the other guys managers. I see niggas spit on people's food, drop food and serve it. Like there were no rules out there. So like yeah, we were
was
probably
this
problems.
was this at the cow themed ice cream place?
Nah, but at that place we were lit. We weren't doing shit out there. Weren't a problem though.
I was definitely the problem, like in school, specifically with math teachers. I was giving them the hardest time. I was making them feel so stupid, or the fact that I was so stupid that it was infuriating to them.
Mhm.
I got kicked out of so many math classes. Miss Williams is the reason I got in school suspension.
Over
Um,
math?
no, I wrote "fuck you, Miss Williams" on my notebook.
That'll do it.
I mean, that's your notebook. It's free speech. What are we doing?
Oh my god.
She was just such a horrible teacher, and I would raise my hand and ask for an explanation, and she wouldn't explain it. So then I felt the need to speak up for everyone because no one understood it. So I was like, "Hey, if you could teach us something, that would be great." And she just wasn't having it. And the ironic part about that is like I got in so much trouble with teachers, specifically math teachers for some reason. But I was also like president of everything that you could possibly be president of. So I don't know how I got away with all of that, but I was also in trouble all the time because I can't keep my mouth shut.
You know, I was actually also the problem in my ninth and 10th grade gym class.
Mm.
I had to try hard. She played like college field hockey. She was also the high school field hockey coach. Um, I didn't. I got an F in gym my freshman year. Like for the whole year, I got an F.
Wow.
I played varsity football, and they tried to make this like you're varsity, you should be like one of our role models in gym. And I was like, nigga, I do not give a fuck about your gym class. Gym for me as a freshman was first period out of 4 periods. You think
Ugh.
one, I want to roll out of bed and participate in gym, run the pacer? I don't. You think I want to run a mile, do a sit up contest? I don't. Two, you think I want to shower, wake up in the morning, shower, go to school, and immediately get sweaty? I don't. Three,
Brutal.
you think I want to have to shower an hour after I originally showered or walk around sweaty all day? I don't. I'm not going to. The amount of notes she wrote to my coaches, to my teachers, to my mom, and I was just like, yeah, like this is one of those things y'all are not gonna win. Like, didn't see the point of it. To this day, if I had to do it all over again, still would take that effing gym. I'm not doing not shit at 7:40 a.m. for any fucking gym teacher who was trying to be a tryhard. And she was like, "Oh, we're gonna play flag football. We're gonna play basketball." Nigga, I don't give a fuck. I'm not gonna play nothing.
That's funny that you bring that up because me and a couple of friends, I think it was my sophomore year of high school, we tried to start a petition that if you played a varsity sport, you didn't have to do gym because you were already like doing athletics every day. And it should only, like, gym class should only be for people that aren't doing any sports. It obviously didn't work, but I had the same thing. I was like, I don't want to be sweaty all day at
Yeah,
school.
it's
Like,
nonsense. I told because after like 3 weeks, we were like mid September. She called me in. She called the coach in, my parents, and she asked like what it was gonna take. And I told her the only way that I was gonna even consider doing gym dressing because I didn't even dress out for gym. I told her the only way I was gonna even consider dressing out for gym was if it was fourth period, and I still don't even want to do it then because then I'm gonna have to do gym and then go right to practice. Like it's a dumb concept.
yep, I agree.
Did
And
they ever try to
especially,
hit you with don't shower before school and just go to gym and then shower afterwards?
Nah, they actually never brought that one up. She did try to tell me that I didn't have to dress out, and if I walked the whole time, that I'd get like the points or whatever. I told her not happening. Like
You
that
didn't
is
just
a hill
walk?
I died on. I took that F happily because I was like,
yeah.
y'all are not. I'm not doing this shit. Like waking. I just woke up to immediate. I just woke up and showered to immediately get sweaty for the day. That's stupid.
Yeah, I agree.
Damn. Shout out gym class.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I hate. I actually heard fucking it's not. It's like the county over. They don't have to do gym. They can do. They've got health, and then they can opt for like one other thing. They eliminated like the physical education part of it. Like for, I don't think it was for that reason. I don't know what the reason was actually. Might
Liberal
have been some
agenda.
bullying. Might have been some bullying type shit. There was a lot of bullying that went on in gym for real.
The liberal agenda is no exercise.
Yeah, they just let you just do whatever you want.
Yeah, they had to get rid of the gym because gym led to bullying for real. You
Did
think
you
you
all
could bully someone for getting a question wrong for being stupid? Man, you could really bully someone for not being athletic. They'd be bullied all day.
And why is there always one girl that has like Mountain Dew pajama pants that sits on the wall in gym and she's like eating Takis and doesn't do anything and still always passes? Did you all have that?
I don't
It's
want to
because
know
Yeah,
she
what
but
was
that woman
walking.
does.
She was walking to get her
she was
points.
Hey,
walking.
hey, she's walking. That'll get it done.
Oh my gosh.
You could go with the classic, like, oh, it's my period, and just, do that one for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, my word.
Maybe she just had a year long period for that
Yeah, just
semester.
every day forever she was
I
on her
hear that
periods.
happens.
Yeah.
Same.
All right. Last one before we get into the top five. Is your therapist supposed to prioritize supporting you over what's socially wrong? What do you mean by that?
Is your therapist?
Right and wrong is like gray area unless we're talking about like murder I can't even say theft because some people think stealing is okay if you're doing it from like corporations. So there's really only like a few things where like right and wrong is straightforward. So I think it's kind of like socially or more. I can't even say morally. Like what is socially acceptable. Here's where this came from. I know a couple. I was listening to a cast and they were talking about how like her therapist helps her work through things and is there for her and ultimately like if she's making decisions, she got out of a bad marriage and she was like in a dark place for like a couple of years and she started to put herself back out there, kind of fell for a man who was like married with kids, and her
Mm.
therapist was in support of her doing what makes her happy and like living her life. And it's
Ugh.
like, is it your therapist's job to tell you don't be happy? Because then it gets tricky. Because like, yeah, it's probably it's tough because you probably shouldn't be cheating with a nigga, but at the same time, like they not your life coach, they not your moral compass. This is a nigga that was supposed to get you out of your dark place. Maybe this is what it took for you to get out of your dark place, just having fun and living a little. So like, where do we gauge what the therapist's job is?
For that situation, I think it's less of making sure you're doing what makes you happy and all that, and trying, like, in that situation, it would be the therapist's job to be like, why are you attracted to a married man that you know is unavailable? Like, what about that do you think is going to make you happy? Because generally, it's not like the actual person. Because nobody, no therapist or anybody should say like, "Oh yeah, you should go after him. He makes you happy and be a home wrecker." Like that's not.
It's
Nobody's
the
going to
dick.
tell you that.
He's dicking her down.
But that's like, but like, why would she go after a married man? That's like where the issue would lie, I would think,
Is
and
what if
that's
it's not a
where.
gone after? What if it's like this married man kind of fell in your lap? Like you
Fell
But
in
got
your
he's
lap.
dicked a
married,
couple of.
so why is a married man falling in my lap?
Whoa, come on! This is my therapist, not his therapist. I don't know the struggle or the demons he's fighting.
I would
I think
just,
the therapist had to step up there. You got to shut that down.
yeah, like
You think so?
I think you should fully be in support of people doing what makes you happy, especially if you were in like an abusive situation. But also, you have to reality check, like, hey, do what makes you happy, but maybe like don't destroy other people's lives.
Yeah.
I don't
I
know.
think this might be a little bit of a reach. Maybe the therapist business is going a little slow. She's giving people some bad advice to get some more people into the doors. That's 3 people she could have as clients. The one lady, because that's going to blow up. Marriage is going to blow up. Wife's going to lose her man. That's 3 people.
Actually, you should go after him, and then when that doesn't work out, you can go ahead and tell them about me.
Hmm.
I'll put in a good word for you, and then it's just like a toxic cycle.
Yep.
Sheesh.
I think she might have to be in support, or the therapist might have to be in support. Because I think at the end of the day,
No, no, no.
you go to your therapist if you're a therapy individual. You go to your therapist to support you. And as much as I hate when women are like they're what is it? It's like there's a word for like supporting women's wrongs. It's stupid. It starts with an M. It'll come to me. But yeah, so the same way that like women are like I support women's wrong because we're gonna stand with like women. I think your therapist kind of has to support her patient's wrong. If it's not like illegal, you probably got to stand by this person because this is a person paying you to prioritize them and their well-being, happiness, success, whatever you deem it. Like,
Mm-mm.
what if that is their version of success, happiness, well-being, good place?
But there's a difference between supporting your client and enabling their bad behavior.
Hmm.
So, encouraging somebody to sleep with a married man is enabling bad behavior rather than being like, I do want you to be happy, but we need to figure out how to be happy and not destroy other people. Because I think there's a very, very tiny line between what you're saying is like being supportive of their actions because you're paying them, but also enabling them and not like checking where they're actually wrong.
But who's making this bad?
I think you just said it's like socially or more. Like I think socially or morally, I think your therapist should step in if you're doing like
Yeah.
destructive behaviors
Yeah.
because they should be looking out for your long term benefit, not like a short term reward, like the situation you were talking about.
I agree.
Mm. I have to get some therapists on the line. Follow up on this.
Yeah, because it wouldn't be like, you should, like, if drugs make you really happy, I feel like you should keep doing drugs because it makes you happy. And I support your happiness rather than being like, I would love for you to be happy, but maybe let's try to do it a different way that is not destructive.
Like
That kind
therapists
of
do
thing.
that? I feel like some therapists might push this weed smoking.
No, I don't consider that bad. I'm talking like drugs. Like
Like
I don't
real
know,
drugs,
yeah,
not that marijuana.
like shooting up something bad for the,
I think a yes man or woman therapist is a
it's like
bad person. It's
terrible
not what you
idea.
need.
Is it though?
Yeah, you can't
Probably.
you need someone you need checks and balances in life. You can't have someone just telling you every good idea every idea you have is good.
What's the
Yeah.
balance or what makes them bad in you telling them, I'm just here to get some dick. I'm just here to get some box out of this. And I'm having a good time. I'm not looking for a relationship. I'm not looking for anything long term. I'm just trying to fuck. They might have to support you on that.
Or they could be like, love the fact that you want to get some dick, just find it somewhere else that doesn't have a ring or
See,
children.
but now they're not prioritizing me no more. Now they're prioritizing their family. Who is paying you? Me or
No,
him?
they're prioritizing you in the long run,
Yeah.
saving you from like this destructive tendencies that you're creating for yourself
Because they want you
Hmm.
to get laid, but they also don't want you to destroy other people. So it's just
or
doing that
yourself.
the correct way. Yeah.
Some people might not be strong enough. The word,
Like,
You
by the
know,
way, is misandrism. That's the like supporting women's wrongs.
never heard of that.
You've never heard of that?
No.
Brother, it is a stupid concept.
what is it called?
It's a misandrism or misandrist.
I don't even know what that is.
Huh. I have to look that up later.
Google it. I got you. I'll give you the exact definition. Misandrist.
Oh, a person who dislikes, despises, or is strongly prejudiced against men.
Yeah, demonstrating to
Oh.
be like I support women wrongs. It's bad. It's
Oh,
terrible
okay.
takes.
That's what you're saying.
Like the worst. The worst of worst takes will come from anybody who tells you they are misandrist. Guaranteed.
I don't think I've met a misandrist.
I don't think I have either.
I hope you never do. It's a dark, troubling time because you can't reason with them. And then when you try to use logic, it just come on.
Sounds like a big red flag.
No, it's a super red flag. Misandrism and racism go hand in hand. I'm not gonna lie.
Before we get into our next topic, we wanted to give a quick shout out to the sponsor of this week's episode, Zencastr. When we first started recording PorchTlk, we were using whatever rinky-dink setup we could, but we realized we needed to step our game up to a legit setup, and that's where Zencastr came in. It's now super easy to record a podcast with Zencastr. Log into your browser and start recording a high-quality podcast right away. Record studio-quality sound and up to 4K video with your guest. Feel a sense of zen knowing Zencastr's multi-layered backups ensure you always have your recordings in the highest quality, even if the connection is unstable. Trust me, I know. If you have thought about podcasting before and realized that you need a lot of different tools and services, those days are over. With Zencastr's all-in-one podcasting platform, you can create your podcast all in one place and distribute it to Spotify, Apple, and other major destinations. Go to zencastr.com/pricing and use our code PorchTlk and you'll get 30% off your first month of any Zencastr paid plan. We want you to have the same easy experience we do for all our podcasting and content needs. It's time to share your story. And honestly, they have a free plan too if you need it. It's just as good. Shout out to Zencastr and let's get back to the episode. Yeah. But a good thing and a good green flag, such as the top 5 green flags, good signs of a potential significant other for this
Okay.
week.
Signs
Great.
of a significant other. Communication is like up there. Communication is high. Availability. I'm gonna put availability pretty high on my list. I'm a needy person to it. Not needy, but like I like to do things. So if you're never available, like when are we gonna see each other? Can't go any farther than that. Communication, availability, financial literacy. Like if you're broke and
Mm.
don't know how to get from unbroke, get away from me. Honesty, even though that kind of goes hand in hand with some of the other stuff.
Just making it up on the spot. I can see it.
I had
The
it
wheels
earlier, but I
turning.
forgot to type it in here.
I have a really big one.
I'll go
Um,
responsible.
yeah.
Responsible.
My really big one is consideration or like being a considerate person. And I'm not saying that every decision you make should, you need to get permission from the person. But if you're just like very considerate of their feelings or their thoughts, or at least like discussing it enough to where they're aware, just like being considerate of the other person is such a giant green flag for me now. Like, love that. Um, Being thoughtful with your actions or your gifts or your time or all of that too, I think is a big one. Um, yeah, and then I agree, like the availability or like prioritizing time and being available for the other person, big one. Communication's a big one. Trying to think of what else.
They like cats.
I mean, that's not like a huge, like you definitely can't hate cats,
Mm.
but you at least need to be able to like live with a cat. Cause like I'm
What
not
a,
a huge dog person, but I could live with a dog if I had to.
what about like a twist on that, which is like if a pet likes the person as compared to like, sometimes pets are like this person, no, don't like
Oh,
their vibes. Big red flag on that.
yeah, that is a huge red flag. If your animal just like completely dejects the other person's existence, that's never good. Um, I would say like being able to take your significant other into any group of friends, family, take them to a social gathering, any of that, and they can like fit in and get along with other people. And it's not like an issue. They're just very go with the flow and can get along with everybody. Is also a huge green flag.
Probably
Cool.
pretty big.
Because there is nothing
Um,
worse than taking somebody to a social event and then they're just like avoidant and shut off and don't talk to anyone and it's just really awkward. That's the worst ever. With that so much.
my number one was also like communication based. Just if they can communicate well with you, because I think at the end of the day, like life's so long, you need to be able to communicate with your person. If any issues arise, like figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
Number two, they're emotionally available. Some people are just checked out. Big red flag. Number three I had was growing. I don't know exactly how I phrased, so I just put that. They're like constantly growing, evolving, throughout the years, and you can see they have,
Mm.
goals and aspirations.
Yeah, they're not stagnant.
Yeah. Number four, hanging out with them is easy. It doesn't feel like it's you're trying to think about conversations or like, oh, what the vibes, like the time is flying by. Number five is kind of a tag on to that. You just feel comfortable with them, You don't got to worry, you don't got to stress. Again, things are easy. Any honorable mentions?
Mm,
Nah, my regular off the top was hard since I lost
Cool.
the ones I had earlier.
I would say,
Post. Hmm.
oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna hit post topics. So if you got an honorable, go for it.
Oh, I was just gonna say like being attentive, like remembering details, remembering to follow up on things, and just like being very attentive when somebody's actually talking and actually listening to them and all that. That's a little bit more rare than you would think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Post topics, real ones only. Okay, let's see. First one. If I see flights on the menu, I'm gonna get them every time. Whether it's beer, mimosas, margs, whiskey, bourbon, vodka, gin, tequila,
Every time.
cocktails, mead, wine.
It's bad.
If the flight's there, I'm getting it.
Every time. It's bad. I fall for it every time, man. Every time. I just it's something about knowing I could pay this price for a drink, or for like $1 or two more, I can get 4 different drink samples. Like, why would I pass up on that? It's gonna get me
Yeah.
every time.
I don't hate it. I like it as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
I
had a
never
great
do that,
moment
but I
last night.
totally get your point. Maybe I need to do
Yeah,
that
that
more.
shit's good.
Yeah.
We did whiskey fights a couple of, not the last time, but the time before when I was in the bird. We was fucked up.
Imagine that.
I had never seen like liquor flights like it wasn't a mixed drink or anything. It was just like 4 whiskey flights. So it was like damn near a little over a shot in each, just 4 of them, different quality whiskeys. Yeah, fucked up.
What was the didn't we get some kind of flight when we were in Fredericksburg? What was that? Was that beer?
Yeah. Went to
Okay.
the tap house or something like that.
Oh,
Yeah, that's what
yeah, definitely the brews.
yeah, those are
Sheesh,
really good.
gotta get
Do
some
you all
more.
ever do like food flights?
I have not.
I think we did like a mac and cheese one time.
I did like one that was different variations of French fries, and that was really
Oh,
cool.
That
Yeah,
makes sense. I could see that.
yeah.
Mac and
But
cheese,
I'm
I can
not
always
see.
mad
like
at
a
that.
sucker for a sampler rather than like one appetizer. I'll
Mm.
always do a sampler.
If it's a real sampler, I can. I feel like the samplers be bullshit. It'd be like fucking tater tots, fries, and chicken tenders. I don't want that.
Well, yeah, and all of them have mozzarella sticks, and the mozzarella sticks always suck.
Yeah, I'm never eating mozzarella sticks. Let's get it correct.
Yeah.
Mozzarella sticks. Shout out Max Bar and Grill, St. Louis. Best mozzarella sticks in town.
It's not saying a lot.
Use them every day.
Dude, we get them every time we were there. They were so fucking good. Put a little fresh parm on top. Woo!
Yeah.
Um, people who act like they're just sick or they got acid reflux, like, no, you're just hungover. What? What is going on in your head?
Have you had one of those friends? And it's like a friend or a friend of a friend, and it's like y'all go out drinking, and then the next morning they're like so sick, or it's their acid reflux fucking up. I'm like, no, nigga, you're hungover. Like, we're all grown. Why are you pretending that like the reason you just threw up in the bathroom for 20 minutes is because you woke up with a stomach bug? That's not how this works.
So you just want people to own up to being hungover.
Yes, that shit like, yeah, I just want you to like own up to it, because to me that shit is like ridiculous.
Yeah, like almost acting like they didn't drink their body weight in liquor the night before.
Yeah, it's weird, and it's no shame in being hungover. Like, we're expecting it. You had a great time. Now you got to pay the price.
Yeah.
We did so much drinking when we were down at the beach. The only day I felt like shit the next day, or like even a little bit hungover, was the night we had tequila and some
Mm-mm.
margs. It was just, I think it was just too sweet. But every other day, like just beers, old fashions, killed some bourbon with the boys. Shout out John, listener of the podcast. I know you're listening now. Um, yeah, it's the tequila. Next day, I was like, what the fuck? I can't do this shit.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
like,
It's
I
definitely because it was
cannot.
probably too sweet if you made margs. Because like what's going around TikTok is like tequila is like the one spirit you could drink and not get a hangover. And me and Kevin are trying to
Right.
test that out. Like, you'll get fucked up, but they're saying like tequila won't give you a hangover. And I'm not gonna lie, I stepped away from tequila from a very long time. The most fucked up I ever was off tequila, did not have a hangover. Threw up crazy, but did not have a
Yeah,
hangover.
it's because he threw it all up.
I
Yeah,
woke up
no, we were
feeling great.
there.
So now I'm trying to
We were
find out,
there.
like, is that true? Is tequila like non-hangover? I think they were saying because like if you get a quality tequila, it's only got like 3 or 4 ingredients, unlike all the other
Yeah.
spirits.
Yeah, I
I'll
mean,
just
we
never
know.
forget you had it by the handle,
That was
turned that shit up and chugged it. I'll
yeah.
never forget that in my whole life. I
If you're
thought my
listening,
heart
I
was
smoked you, Siegel.
Remember when he threw up and then he was like, I didn't throw up? Like, what? That wasn't me.
Man, it probably wasn't me now that I'm thinking about it.
my heart fell out of my body. And then we were like on top of those chairs or whatever singing
Were
and
we, or was there one man in particular that was really on top of
I
the
wasn't gonna
chairs?
like call him out individually.
Oh no, it was lit.
Ugh. God, that's a core memory for sure.
I'll never forget that in my whole life.
What a time.
What a time. All right, let's wrap this thing up and do some music and TV recommendations.
TV Forbidden Love. It's actually so good. It's about niggas in different religions trying to get together. Doesn't work. So much drama, so much tea. So yeah, Forbidden Love, fire. And then music, Chance drop Bad Boys 2. Shit goes crazy.
I didn't know he dropped new shit.
Yeah.
Um, the only thing I've been watching lately is The Traitors. I've now seen every season of every version. So I'll recommend The Traitors UK because that's the best one. For music, Joe Jonas has a new song, Work It Out, coming out with a new album soon. And I just can't wait for it. I'm so excited.
Are you gonna go see it? Is when he tours? Are you gonna go see him?
I don't think he plans to do like a solo tour at all. It was just like he really wanted to write an album about his divorce. So I think he's just doing his own thing for now, but I don't think he's going to tour it. If he does, though, my ass will be in the front row, seated with binoculars.
Okay. Music wise, no, I'm gonna start TV. Still watching Scrubs. I feel like I was gonna recommend something else, but I do not know off the top of my head anymore. So I have to go with that. Music wise, I'm definitely gonna pick some type of Childish Gambino song. But I don't have it off the top of my head because I was not prepared for anything today. New album, so I guess I'll just go with the Bando Stone and the New World album because that's good. Paige, do you want to promote anything before we wrap this up? The lifestyle coaching business, anything else?
No, just follow my TikTok, I guess. Loving it over there. I'm loving it more than Instagram these days. So at Miss Paisley _.
All right. Thank you, Paige, for joining us once again.
Of
We're
course.
going to wrap this thing up. Thank you for listening. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. Porch Talk No A. Leave us on Apple Podcasts. If you're on Spotify, you can watch on Spotify. You can watch on YouTube. Leave a review. Leave a like. Do something else. I'm a little rusty. We'll be back next week. Peace.